Nigeria's headline inflation rate eased significantly to 15.15% in December 2025, following a review by the National Bureau of Statistics. The latest figure signals a clear moderation in price pressures across the economy. According to the NBS, Consumer Price Index reports the CPI rose to 131.2 points in December, up slightly from 130.5 points in November, reflecting a slower pace of increase in average prices. On a year-on-year basis, headline inflation declined to 15.15% in December 2025, down from 17.33% recorded in November, and sharply lower than 34.80% recorded in December 2024, underscoring a strong deceleration in inflation over the 12-month period. The Bureau also noted that the CPI increased by 0.7 points month-on-month, adding that the December headline inflation rate stood well below the previous month's level. Meanwhile, on a month-on-month basis, headline inflation moderated to 0.54% in December, compared with 1.22% in November, indicating ease in short-term price pressures. Food and non-alcoholic beverages remained the largest contributor to headline inflation, accounting for 6.06 percentage points of the year-on-year figure. Well, joining me now is a renowned economist and Vice President, Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Dr. Chijioke Ikechukwu. Thank you so much for joining us at this point.
Thank you very much. It's good having me on the program.
All right, so let's head quite quick into it. Dr. Ikechukwu, Nigeria's headline inflation eased to 15.15% in December 2025. How significant is this drop, and what does it tell us about the state of the economy?
It's an encouraging figure, knowing that the budget of the country for 2025 was hinged on a benchmark of 15% inflation rate. And having had up about 15.15 by December 2025 is an encouraging rate. But of course, you know that there last year, about November last year, we had inflation rates of about 14.45. But of course, because it has to be adjusted because of the base year effect of 2024, we are having this figure, which is looking like there's a spike, but it's indeed not a spike just because of the base year effect. It's encouraging to see that we are beginning to gradually
up from where you stopped, where we had stopped at the point.
Okay, so thank you for having me back. I was just saying that this the inflation rate of 15.15% is a welcome development for our economy, knowing that the benchmark for inflation for 2025 was actually 15%.
Yeah.
But having to achieve up to 15.15 at the end of the year of 2025 was just coming very close to 8. If you consider year on year, the achievement reached, considering the fact that it was 34.8% by December 2024. This is a major stride, and it's a welcome development for us. We saw that, of course, in 2024, a lot of the high inflation rate was actually coming from food and related areas of our sectors. But this particular period, we saw that the food inflation dropped tremendously, arising from, of course, we're just coming from some supply, this is a seasonal harvest, and then considering the fact that we're also getting close to the season of Christmas, a lot of imports came in to be able to booster the supply system. It's always a situation of supply and demand, and so once we have enough supply, we're also going to have enough good price for the items. I guess that's what happened, because the food inflation came down. That's why we have this reduced rate of inflation.
All right, so compared to the 34.80% recorded in December 2024, now this is actually a sharp deceleration. What key factors drove this dramatic turnaround from over the past year?
Of course, like I mentioned, food inflation. By this time last year, the prices of goods, the prices of food were so high. Prices of all items of food were so high that couldn't be reached by an average home. But we saw that most of those prices came down. Let's even take an item of, say, rice. By December 2024, we had rice going for between 85,000 to 100,000. By December 2025, that same product called rice, that same agricultural product called rice, reduced to about 55,000. And so that happened to many other items of the agricultural products. And so food items reduced. Like I said, we just came out from harvest period, and so a lot of them still in the market, and a lot of importation happened for the price, for the supply end to be competitive. And so to that extent, prices couldn't just go up, and that's why we have what we have today, deceleration of this rate from 34.8 to 15.15. That's why we have this kind of reduction.
All right, so looking at the data now, the CPI rose slightly to 131.2 points, yet inflation slowed. Can you explain this semi-contradiction for viewers who may find it confusing?
Yeah, you see that month on month, you see an increase, a slight increase month on month. I just also said because
Dr. Ikechukwu seems to be having challenges with the network as Dr. Ikechukwu is trying to explain the CPI data, which rose slightly to 131.2 points. And I asked him the question regarding inflation that slowed.
Christmas and prices were rising up a little, and imagine that.
Can you hear me now?